All right. So this video is going to be the second match that we've got recorded today. It's going to be the second match from the Planetary Qualifier Recovery Party held at Animal House Games. We did that right around 4 o'clock for all those players that were in town to give them something else to do and check out a new shop in the area. And we spaced it out so that, with the Planetary Qualifier at Energy Gamers starting at around 11, that it would be right around 4 players that had the unfortunate situation of 3 losses could then come over, check out Animal House, and play in a free win-a-box tournament that we played, which of Legends of the Force boosters, which was really cool. Plus, also, we did a spin to win at the end for another box. So that was really cool. And it was really great to see the players that came out and checked out the shop. We had one of my friends that I met at the Galactic Championships that was there, came out from Greenville. Another fellow we met the night before over at Final Round came out and joined us right towards the end. And then we had a couple of young players also with us, just kind of checking out the game, doing their thing. And it was really kind of a very family-oriented atmosphere that we had over at Animal House Cards. So it was really great to be able to capture a couple of games. This was going to feature myself playing a Sabine ECL. It's kind of an updated list pulled from a Planetary Qualifier that happened in North Carolina not too long ago. Thomas was the pilot of that deck, and Rebel Raiders put that deck together. So a lot of the things that they did with that list made a lot of sense, especially with the addition of the new Yoda's lightsaber. We're going to see how Sabine's masterpiece, in the very first game at least, really can control a Vader's first turn double 1-drop play and keep Vader off of its space units so it can't create those tokens and start to overwhelm the space arena. That's one that we were going to see. Game 2, we're going to see Overwhelming Barrage just do its thing, which is wipe out your entire opponent's side of the board. And then finally we get to the last game, which I'll let you see how that one plays out. But before we get there, we are going to talk again about the weekly scheduled events with the OTPG associated shops in the Charleston area. For a weekday event, we have Final Round Tuesdays starting at 6:30. They do a best of 1 with a $10 entry fee, pricing in packs based on your record. And from what I gathered from the last promo they put out in their Discord, the top player from that best of 1 gets an additional pack. Then our weekend events start up again at Final Round, 7:30. Kind of a soft start. We're trying to find just the perfect spot, but we really do want to fire at 7:30 if possible. It's a best of 3, $10 entry fee, and prizes are in packs based on record. Final Round has gotten in their weekly participation packs for Legends of the Force, so that's great news. They really had to do a lot to get those in from their distributors. I'm glad to see they finally have them in, so be expecting those at future events at Final Rounds. Then following that on Saturday, Animal House Cards is doing a 5 p.m. best of 3. Again, it's kind of a soft start, but we really do want to try to fire at 5 p.m. Entry fee there is $10, and they're doing something really special starting in September, doing a double win a pack. That means every time you get a win, you get 2 packs instead of 1. And then at the end of the event, we'll do a spin to win for a Carbonite pack for anyone who is in the event. So everybody gets a chance at that Carbonite pack. That's really cool. I got to give it up to Kevin at Animal House Cards for really pushing in hard for the Star Wars community players and trying to get that product out there. There is a big need in our local area for Legends of the Force legendaries and rares. And the reason I know that is because people hit me up all the time about, do I have access to those cards? Do I have this to trade? A lot of times I try to loan them out just to help players play their lists. But I've noticed that there just isn't that much product cracked out, and it was great to be able to open up a couple boxes with Kevin and the boys over there at Animal House Cards last Saturday, August the 23rd. So they're going to continue to do that effort with the double win a pack and the spin to win for the Carbonite pack in their Saturday events starting in September. Also, Grand Line Games, their Sundays, they have a 3 p.m. It is a soft 3 p.m. start, but we are really trying to fire at 3 p.m. It's a best of 3. It's a $10 entry fee. It's a pack just for entering, and then a pack per win. And then the winner of the event, whoever comes in first place, gets another pack added to their winnings. So that's really great. And they have the weekly participation packs, which we will probably keep on doing the double participation packs at least through the month of September as we grow that community over there. We had some additional new players show up that are from out of the little bit outside kind of Walterboro area, and one local that joined us weekend before last. So that community is starting to show some signs of growth, and that's always a great thing for the overall Star Wars community in the Charleston area. So kind of keep these shops in mind as we move forward through the month of September and move towards the release of the new set 6. These things will continue through. So with that said, we're going to get to the action at the tables. Again, you're going to see the Metal Fab Life pucks being used. They have been amazing to help with the editing of these videos. I cannot tell you how awesome these are. One little trick though is keep that timer running so your life puck doesn't turn off. It has a there's a self shut off feature to save the battery just in case you forget and put it in your bag, or in the protective case that it comes in. It's really cool. A little carrying case with a clip on it, and you can just flip it right inside your bag and nobody even knows you have it with you. But you're going to see those featured in this video. Metal Fab, I want to give you a big shout out to Brandon and the boys there for having those available to us to first pick up. And then on the 14th, we were able to do a raffle for a life puck. And that was won by one of our local players. And because we hit 100 subscribers, OTPG also threw in another spin to win raffle, not spin to win, but a raffle off for a full play set of the foil Han Solo pilots from Jump to Lightspeed that are found in only the weekly participation packs. They were won by a player out in Utah. We got those out, and we just got a picture of those cards and the shop that Coco Morales goes to out in Utah, and really appreciate him putting that up in the Discord for us, just to show that, you know, OTPG does put out what they offer, and everybody's going to get what they get from that raffle. So all that information has been sent out, and it was just really cool. So one of the things you're going to notice is this video is a little tilted, and that is because about midway through the video, the camera does get knocked a little bit. We will see that, but we do want to, we did capture enough of the play area and arenas to where the actual visual of the game was not really affected. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into that. Me and Scott are playing against each other. We're good buddies. We usually don't cut each other's decks. We just shuffle up and go. I've already laid down my resources and kind of looking at my turn 1 plays. I have 2 very important cards in my hand. I've got a red unit for my first turn play and the Sabine Masterpiece. And there's the red unit that goes to the ground. I believe that is Sabine.
That's a really strange ground unit.
He puts a 1/1 out. I claim initiative, and he did not have a second 1/1 play. So that's going to give the next play I make, which is to ECL out the Sabine Masterpiece, and it just pings the unit, so it doesn't take any damage, and it does happen on the attack, so the attack still does happen. So he puts out a Vexy Wing Leader to buff up all his future tokens. And I've got to get that off the board. I cannot let that stay there. So, again, that Sabine matchup piece is going to come in real handy. A lot of times in these matchups against Vader, you find yourself on the initiative. So I do the ping damage and then another 3 points to it, allowing me to get that off the board, but I take 2 points of damage. He tries to capture, but unfortunately does not have the coordinate necessary for that capture mechanic to work. So he decides to put out one of the most dangerous units that Vader has, which is the Lurking Typhoon. I am on the flip turn. I have my leader above my base for some reason, so I think I eventually correct that here in a second. Very scared about this Chewbacca. Scott has kind of innovated adding Chewbacca into his Vader list. I'll go ahead and put down a green unit. He claims. At this point I realize, wait a minute. Let's flip these things around. And I'm going to do ping damage to each of the bases. Flip her over. Slap on the Yoda's lightsaber, which is really the new set 5 card that's been added to this list, and it is just so good. And that brings 9 more points of damage to the base. And we are right now racing hard. Now we're going into that turn 4, 5 resource turn, and my Sabine's Masterpiece is a little bit weak right now. However, it is a 3-powered unit, and I am holding a Fleet Lieutenant, and it is a Rebel. And that's 5 toughness that he is presenting. That is a great combo. And there, I lose my unit, and Scott decides that's enough. Scoop it up. The next play would have been a Fleet Lieutenant to get another probably 5 points of base to the base, 5 points of damage to the base, and then follow that up with that Luke Skywalker that was there for a total of 8 more points, with him being at 10, putting at 18. And Scott just kind of realized that he was just a little too far behind in the race. I go to sideboards, and I believe I just bring in 2 Daring Raids. Those seem to be the most fitting card to bring in, because it can just take out shields, and it is direct damage to the base. I could have gone with the 2 Sindari Peacekeepers to try to help with the life in that race, but felt like that wasn't really where I wanted to be. And 2 cards I take out are going to be Wreckers. Pretty sure. I should be able to see that, but I might have that tucked off camera. But the Wreckers don't do a lot to the ground, or do a lot to space units. They don't hit ground units. And they are an expensive unit, so they're late game, and I decide that those can go. The question is, do I take out all 3? Zach had finally joined us. He just showed up from the Planetary Qualifier. I think he ended up 3-3, so he had a really good chance of at least top 16. And we'll let him be able to be heard. Zach talking about the importance of sequencing your actions correctly, and you know, it really, he said it made a difference of about 5 points of damage that he could have prevented, and that can make or break a game right there. So that's how tight you have to play your lines. And you know, congratulations to Zach for getting the 3-3, just to break even in the Planetary Qualifier. And the Planetary Qualifier was full of former Planetary Qualifier winners, ringers from around the South Carolina and North Carolina region, players that had top aided multiple Planetary Qualifiers. So there was a very, very strong field of players at that Planetary Qualifier. Not to mention, it was a very well run Planetary Qualifier by the judges. Bradley, Zapp, and head judge Bobby did a great job. Time between rounds, I think I was told 3 minutes. So they were turning and burning, getting those results in and getting the pairings up again in melee. So I've got to give it to the guys on how well they ran the event. And Synergy really did bring all the goodies to the table. I mean, they had lunch provided, some little breakfast and drink thing they had set up for. I can't remember the name of the company, but they these specialized pancakes and raffles and all kinds of things. So nice, well-run event altogether. But this, the recovery party, was all about exactly what the name says: recovering from the events at the from the beating that one would occur if they were unfortunate enough to get a 3 losses. So this was round 2. With Zach showing up, we were just moments away from having a full 8-man tournament. So there was one bye, but that's all right. Definitely wanted the players to play out their matches at the Planetary Qualifier and take their shot. And at this point, one of the locals at the shop was kind of checking out the game. That's one of the cool things about playing this at Animal House, where they set us up, where we can be seen playing Star Wars right up front, and then players are, that play other card games, other TCGs, are being exposed to Star Wars for the first time. And so he's asking about the camera equipment right now.
You might see it under E10 sometimes.
Talking about the Sony EV10.
It's more than the job needs, but I can go wireless all the time.
By the way, it's a great starter camera for anybody that's getting into vlogging and that kind of stuff. It's got, as you can tell, the microphones pick up pretty well that are built in. It's got 2 microphones built into it, so really, really affordable, and the amount of features that it has are deep. You could almost take a college course to learn how to operate this camera effectively. I am looking at a hand that does not have the opening that I want as far as the Sabine Masterpiece to just keep Vader in check. I do need to stay in the air, though. I recognize that, but I also recognize that one of my air units is kind of weak into Vader. So I'm just going to go straight red unit. He plays a second unit out. And I go ahead and claim initiative. Now there's that daring raid. I got a rebel assault. I got Luke Skywalker. I believe that's for a cause I believe in. I'm considering putting the Luke Skywalker down, but I feel like I'd go back on that. So I go and attack into his unit that can draw a card, forcing him to attack with the raid unit. That only gets raid if there is a token on board. There I ECL out a red 5. You can't really see it because of the glare, but it is a 3-4, taking back the 2 points of damage. And that early use of ECL against Vader, because these games do not last long, is not a bad thing. Now he puts out the Vexing Wing Leader. I've got the initiative. We're going into that flip turn for Sabine. I go ahead and Rebel Assault. And my Rebel Assault gives you attack with 2 individual units, one at a time. So you take out that Vexing Wing Leader first, which then will drop down the power and toughness by 1 on the token. And that's what we're discussing right now, is you're attacking with them 1 at a time.
I'll swing 4 into him. And then I'll swing
Now, I may have done that wrong. I may have should have gone the other way around, but I felt like I was keep a unit on board.
That's a dude.
Now that daring raid, I'm going to consider for a moment, and then accidentally I knocked the shield completely off the unit. Me and Scott do a lot of tabletop, kitchen table, Star Wars. We get kind of hot and fast, and I actually knocked that off there. He claims the initiative now. I go ahead and put down a Luke. I ping the bases and put Sabine out, and we had his timer turn off, so we had to set that back up. But I'm just amazed. I've even turned the brightness down on those to conserve the batteries. And those life pucks just pop on camera. I got them both set to blue because I was playing my double blue race Scooby Snacks deck, which did not do well at all. By the 3rd round, I only had 1 win, so I took the drop out. I'm debating on that 4 cause I believe in. There's where the camera gets knocked. So the good part, our video is a little more squared up, but we still had to kind of, knock it to the side a little bit. Turn it. Put out a wing leader. I put 2 counters on my space unit, thinking that I might have it safe, but Scott shows me the follies of my ways here pretty soon. And I'm just swapping out a red dice for a blue dice. I like to represent damage with blue. There's an overrun barrage for 5 points of damage. So he's going to do 3. Because there's already 3 damage on him. On the red 5. So he kills 2 units, which is pretty sweet.
That wouldn't be fair to you at all. I didn't want to do that, but I thought it might save me. So you're doing great with that. Swing the base for 3.
Unfortunately, I don't have enough resources to deploy the card in my hand.
I think you should have maybe done that before the attack.
And I'm sitting here discussing with Scott about what I think he should have done to get the extra damage in, but Scott explains very wisely why he went in. Just making sure that I'm playing an initiative correctly. And draw 2 more cards. Let's see. Heroic Sacrifice is in my hand. You see the Yoda's lightsaber and the Fleet Lieutenant. Let's go ahead and take out the ship. He's on 6, so he flips his Vader. I put Yoda's lightsaber on Sabine, giving her 6 points of health, which is not enough to save her from the 8 points of damage that Vader is going to put on her from the Oberyn barrage. My board is completely wiped up to the point where I have to put a Fleet Lieutenant out. Had I played that in reverse and put the Fleet Lieutenant out first, I might have gotten there a little bit better. But he's going to tell me about this extra overwhelming barrage he has in his hand, and that's pretty much the game. That's a very difficult card to overcome.
Hey, what's up, dude? Good.
As you can tell from the background noise, there was quite a crowd there. They were also running a 2K CEDH tournament in the back of the room with two judges, two excellent judges taking care of business over there. That's where he tells me about the third overloading barrage. And I'm just like, well, I'm going to make you show me it. And there it is, and that's pretty much game. There's no coming back from that. Another 8-point swing from Vader, plus 2 tokens. That's 10 more points for the base. I'm at 1. So he had me pretty much beat all the way. And that just shows you the power and speed that Vader does have. I mean, there's a reason why this deck keeps showing up in top 8 Planetary qualifiers. And I think last week there was even a win. The Planetary qualifier won by Vader Yellow. So when piloted correctly in the right hands, it is a force to be reckoned with.
He decided to put Chewbacca in the Vader deck. So Chewbacca, is he a 5? 5 is the pilot. So I play the Clone Squadron on 4, Chewbacca on 5. And he was to 13, and then Vader was going to flip onto something else, make 2 more, so 50-50, and Vader hit for whatever Vader was going to hit. So I'd almost be able to kill somebody on that flip.
Scott's talking about the lines of play with the Chewbacca, how he likes, he really does like the way it curves out. Playing the Clone Squadron on 4, Chewbacca on 5, and we're going to skip ahead a little bit here. I was looking up the website for the equipment that I purchased for video recording for the gentleman that was hanging out, and I told him that best bet, just hit me up through the Discord. Skip ahead just a little bit more. All right, so now we're getting to where we're starting the game again. Definitely don't want to put the viewers through all that. I want to see the games, not necessarily the side talk. But I did not get a Sabine's Masterpiece, so I go ahead and mulligan. Because I am mulliganing for Sabine's Masterpiece.
Showed a whole bunch of stuff out of my emails. Cut that part out. Not that there's anything weird in there,
So give the deck a good shuffle and a slice. I kind of cut my deck myself. And we're both tapping each other's decks like we normally do. I've known Scott for a long time, so neither one of us is trying to cheat the other. I miss on the Sabine Masterpiece, but I do have some air units. The Wrecker goes down. That's the one of Wrecker left in the deck. I sided out a Wrecker in game 2. And I'll go ahead and just put out the Green Squadron. Now in this matchup, I tend to put, for a cause I believe in, down in my resource pile. It's not a control matchup. I'm not trying to get that extra reach, though it is one of the best cards in the deck for closing out games. But I'm going to go ahead and put in the red 5, and I believe I take 3 points of damage back on that. Oh no, sorry, 2. There's that shield token. And here I could ping the bases, but I could even attack right here, but I would lose my unit. So I go and claim. So there's some interesting lines you play. Oh, there's the Sabine Masterpiece. There's some interesting lines that you play with Sabine, where you're not necessarily the aggro. You're more the control deck here. Just trying to control that space arena as best as possible. I do have the ability to put the Luke Skywalker as an upgrade onto one of my units, which would not be terrible. But instead, I go ahead and Rebel Assault into the base, all the way. Now we're on the race plane. I still have 3 resources up. Camera seems to get a little bit out of focus there. Hopefully that auto corrects itself here. There's another Vexing Wingleader right on time. He decides wisely to get rid of that unit. Creates a token. I lay down the Sabine's Masterpiece. He puts down another unit, and he has quite the board state. However, I have a green unit and a red unit out, so I'm going to be able to do, with the Sabine Masterpiece, I'm going to be able to attack in, get a +1/+1 counter on it, and do ping damage. And this is a very important turn. If I don't gain some kind of control or advantage in the space arena.
On triggers, do a +1, do 1 point of damage to that, then die it, that, and I take 2.
All right, so right there, I swung in, did the ping damage to the 3/2 unit, and then after the Vexing Wingleader dies, it loses its +1/+1 and dies as well. Chewbacca.
Do Chewbacca, 5 damage, 5 toughness. Fleet Lieutenant, swing it for 5.
And that seems to be like a pretty fair trade there.
Going to base.
And I still have Anakin that I can put down.
It's +2/+2. I think it's +1. It is +1.
Now I've got the space kind of under control. I go ahead and deploy, allowing him to get initiative, swinging for another 3, and claim the initiative. I have another record in my hand. Now it makes me wonder what I took out. But that's okay. He deploys to the ground, which is funny that I still had a record in the deck. Maybe it was the one. No, there's 2 records right there.
It just says 5 to him. Oh, you don't have the thing. No, I didn't. Yeah, I couldn't record it.
So he could still over and barrage, which he does.
He's good. He does 7 points of damage. And there's still that. Okay. Yeah. 6 points. Actually, you might want to do something more, guys. Oh, you kill that, and 1 somewhere else. 1 this. Okay. Or 1 to record. 1 to record.
And wisely does the one to record because he knows I got to kill that
Attack.
Vader.
Do 1 point to damage.
So they trade. At least Scott claimed after that. The wing leader right now is the weakest card in my hand because I don't have any rebels on the board. But I decide not to resource. He waylays the wrecker. I just lay down Poe Dameron. And I claim. And by not resourcing, that gives me a little extra cards in my hand. And I just immediately will put, anytime I draw a Cassian Andor, I just go ahead and put him in the resource pile. He's so much better there. Go ahead and get the full set of 8 points of damage out of Poe Dameron. I go ahead and put a K2SO out there to kind of help seal the deal. He puts out his Clone Squadron, which is a 4/4, and I could have claimed at any point in time, but now that he's tapped out, I'm like, okay, he can't waylay the Poe Dameron now. He could no good to me dead it, but there you go. Into the match, and yeah, this shows you different lines of plays that you can do with Sabine to be the control player with an otherwise aggro deck. All right, and the other heavy aggro deck that's in the meta right now is Vader. It's very good. So just trying to keep control of that airspace and keep them off of their token generation, so they don't get out of hand. And in the last game, I just got lucky. He only had one overall in Barrage, you know. So with that said, just a quick reminder on our weeklies. Just check those out. All these shops are really putting it out for all the players. I think every single shop brings its own different, unique kind of spin to the way they're doing their events. And all of them are now all suited up with the weekly participation pack. So please come out and check them out. And with that said, this is Jason from On the Plate Games saying, whether it's day or night, may the force be with you.